I've dealt with a lot of strange calls in my 20 years wearing a badge. But nothing prepared me for the day an HOA Karen tried to use her so-called master key to break into my car, then called 911 on me when it didn't work. It all started the week I quietly moved into the small lakeside community on the edge of town. The department needed someone to live undercover there for a bit. Too many burglary complaints, too many accidents, and way too many reports mentioning the same name. Linda Patterson, the HOA president everybody not so secretly referred to as Karen Linda. I wasn't moving in as Sheriff Dalton Hayes. No uniform, no patrol car, just a regular guy with an old cabin and a black SUV. And to keep things clean, the HOA didn't know their newest quiet resident could arrest every one of them if needed. 2 days after moving in, I learned one thing fast. This neighborhood feared Linda more than they feared God. She patrolled the streets in her golf cart like a mall cop with a clipboard, popping out the moment a grass blade grew sideways. People hid packages behind bushes because she'd take photos, send fines, knock on doors, complain about porch aesthetics. But me, she hadn't noticed me yet. Until she saw my SUV. It was early morning. Fog hung over the lake like a blanket. I stepped outside to bring in the trash can, and froze. There she was, standing beside my SUV, holding what looked like a giant jangling ring of keys. Metal, plastic, old, new. The whole thing looked like a jailer's nightmare, and she was jamming one into my door. I watched her twist, push, huff, and mutter about non-compliant residents. She tried a second key, then a third, then what looked like a literal skeleton key. My SUV beeped angrily each time she fiddled with it. I took a step closer. "Morning," I said. She jolted like she'd been tasered. "This vehicle," she snapped, pointing sharply, "is in violation." "Of what?" "HOA Regulation 14C. All vehicles must be logged, registered, and accessible for inspection. And since you failed to provide me with your resident key, I'm doing it myself." "Resident key?" "Yes," she said proudly. "My master key opens every garage, shed, gate, padlock, and vehicle in this community. That doesn't sound legal. It's HOA standard procedure." She jingled her keyring like it was a badge. "Now step aside, sir. You're interfering with an authorized inspection." "Authorized by who? Satan?" I raised an eyebrow. "You're trying to open my car. Your car has not been verified," she snapped. "Therefore, it is subject to full evaluation." "And what evaluation is that?" "Interior cleanliness, item inventory, proper resident compliance. Your back seat has clutter. My inspection will determine if it is acceptable." She tried another key. "What makes you think your key would open my car?" I asked. "Because this is a master key," she hissed. "It opens everything. It doesn't open mine." "It would," she barked, "if you followed the rules." She pushed the key in again, and my SUV alarm exploded into full blast mode. A piercing siren tore through the quiet morning. She screamed, and then she did the unthinkable. She pulled out her phone, dialed, pressed it to her ear. 911, "What's your emergency?" I heard faintly through her speaker. "This is HOA President Linda Patterson," she said dramatically. "I need immediate police response. A man is refusing to let me access a potentially stolen vehicle." I blinked. "Stolen?" She pointed at me like she'd caught a murderer. "He is stopping an HOA inspection. He's hiding something in that car. And his tag number is unregistered. And his windows are tinted. Red flag. Send a deputy now." I stared at her in disbelief. She hung up and glared. "You're in big trouble." "Am I?" "You can't stop an HOA acting in official capacity. I have power here, and the sheriff's department always sides with me." I couldn't help it. I laughed. Out loud. She stiffened. "What's so funny?" "You'll see." I leaned against the porch railing and waited. 5 minutes later, I heard the rumbling tires of a county cruiser coming down the street. Deputy Morales stepped out. He was new to the force, hired just 3 months ago. Good kid. By the book. And he did not know I lived here undercover. He walked toward the driveway, hand on his belt. "Morning," he said. "We got a call about an attempted vehicle theft." Linda instantly jumped in front of him. "Officer, over here, over here. The suspect is this man. He is obstructing an HOA master inspection, which means we have probable cause to assume." "Linda," Morales sighed, "we've talked about this. HOA keys don't." "It's a master key," she insisted. "He's hiding something in that SUV." Morales turned to me. "Sir, can I see your—" He froze. Recognition hit him like a truck. His eyes widened. His posture snapped straight. His voice dropped to a whisper. "Sheriff." Linda's head whipped around so fast I heard a crack. "Sheriff? What sheriff?" "He's just some resident." Morales looked horrified. "Ma'am, you just called 911 on Sheriff Hayes." Linda blinked, stared at me, stared at him, stared at my face again. No. She shook her head violently. He can't be the sheriff. He doesn't look like the sheriff." Morales swallowed hard. "Ma'am, that's literally the sheriff." Linda's face drained of color. He didn't show ID. "You tried to unlock his car," Morales said. "With a master key," I added helpfully. "It should have worked," she screeched. "It's the community master key. If it didn't open his vehicle, then his vehicle is the problem." "Ma'am," Morales said firmly, "you attempted to break into an officer's private property. It's not private. It's an MY neighborhood. This entire road is under MY jurisdiction." "Another thing," I said casually, "I'm actually conducting an undercover investigation here." Her jaw dropped. "You undercover?" "Yep." I folded my arms. "You're interfering with it." Morales shifted uncomfortably. "Sheriff, should I cuff her?" Linda gasped. "Cuff me? I'm the HOA president." "Yeah," I said. "That might be part of the problem." Linda sputtered. Sheriff, you don't understand. I wasn't trying to break in. I was doing a safety inspection." "With a skeleton key? It's regulation." "No, Linda," I said. "It's burglary. You can't arrest the HOA president." "Why not?" "Because," she stammered. "Because I'm in charge here." "No," I said calmly. "Not anymore." Deputy Morales pulled out his notebook. "Sheriff, want me to take statements from neighbors?" "Oh, they'll give statements," I said. "Trust me." Because all around us, doors were cracking open. Curtains were shifting. Residents peeked out like they'd been waiting for this day their whole lives. Linda backed away slowly, trying to salvage control. This is a misunderstanding." I took a step closer. "Linda Patterson, you just attempted to unlawfully enter a vehicle, obstructed an undercover operation, and filed a false police report. That's 3 charges." She wilted like a deflated balloon. I didn't know." "No," I said. "You didn't care. But that wasn't the end. Not even close. Because right then, as Linda tried to retreat to her golf cart, something clicked in my head. A detail I'd ignored. A piece of the very reason I was here undercover. That giant keyring she carried? I recognized one of the keys. It wasn't for a car, or a shed, or a gate. It was a county-issued padlock key. A key that should only ever be held by law enforcement. And somehow, she had it. Which meant one thing. Linda wasn't just an overbearing HOA president. She had access to things she absolutely should not have. And suddenly, this case was a whole lot bigger than a nosy neighbor with too much authority. It was a breach, a security breach, and possibly a criminal one. I exchanged a look with Morales. He saw it too. This wasn't over. Not by miles. Because Linda was hiding more than a master key. She was hiding something the HOA never should have had. Something that might explain all the accidental break-ins, thefts, and disappearances around the community. Something that could blow this entire investigation wide open. And I was about to find out exactly what. Linda tried to retreat, but I stepped in front of her cart. I wasn't ready to let her disappear. Not with that keyring in her hand and a dozen unanswered questions swirling in my head. Linda, I said calmly, I'm going to need to take a closer look at those keys. She clutched them to her chest. They're HOA property. You can't confiscate them. Actually, I said, I can, especially when one of those keys belongs to county emergency services. Her face twitched. That's not possible. Oh, it's possible, I replied, and you're going to tell me exactly how you got it. She opened her mouth, closed it, opened again, like a fish gasping on a dock. Deputy Morales stood beside me, brows furrowed. Sheriff, we need to secure those keys before she runs. At that, something in Linda snapped. She spun her golf cart wheel, jammed the pedal, and the little machine screeched backward in a panicked zigzag. Neighbors scattered like pigeons. She's running, Morales said. I can see that. The cart jolted, swerved, slammed into a mailbox, and kept going, zigzagging down the street as she shrieked at pedestrians to move out of the way. HOA business. I sighed. Let's go. Morales and I jogged after her. She wasn't fast, just chaotic. The cart bounced off curbs, rattled through gravel, and narrowly avoided Mrs. Brenner's rose bushes. Linda, I called out, you're digging a deeper hole. I have rights, she screamed back. She veered left, racing toward the community maintenance shed. A sinking feeling hit me. No, I muttered. She's not going in there. Why? What's in there? Morales asked. That padlock, I said. That key wasn't random. It opens something in that shed. And if she was desperate enough to run toward it, whatever she was hiding was serious. She skidded to a stop, jumped out, fumbled with her keys, and jammed a large brass one into the lock. I shouted, Linda, stop! She forced the door open and froze. We caught up seconds later, and when I stepped inside, the darkness of the shed swallowed us whole. Took a moment for my eyes to adjust, but when they did, I felt my stomach drop. Inside were dozens of boxes stacked against the walls. Not cardboard, metal, heavy, industrial, each with a white label. County Emergency Supply Unit. Restricted access. Authorized personnel only. Morales gasped. These are disaster relief kits. They're supposed to be locked at HQ. I know, I muttered. Linda turned around slowly. Listen, this isn't what it looks like. Really? I asked. Because it looks like you stole county property. I didn't steal, she snapped. I requisitioned. You what? I requisitioned them, she repeated proudly, as if she'd invented the word. This community needs protection. And the county office refused to give the HOA special status. So you took supplies meant for emergencies? I asked. She crossed her arms. You should see the Northern District's HOA. They have 3 boxes. Why can't we? Because it's illegal, Morales said. No, she countered. It's proactive. I opened one of the crates. Inside were emergency rations, medical kits, flashlights, water purification tablets, and a sealed satchel marked County Sheriff Controlled Access. My jaw tightened. Linda, I said slowly, this satchel should be in a sheriff's safe, not in a shed behind your tennis courts. She snatched the keyring tighter. HOA needs to prepare for disasters. Floods, fires, riots. We can't rely on police response. We must be self-sufficient. That doesn't give you the right to steal county property. Borrow, she corrected. Temporarily reassign. We're taxpayers. We're entitled. No, I said. No, you are very much not entitled. She paced, frantic. You don't understand. These residents depend on me. I have to be ready for everything. And none of this would have been necessary if the county cooperated. Linda, I said, who gave you the key? She froze. Her eyes darted to the back corner of the shed. I followed her gaze, and there, half hidden under a tarp, was a small lockbox. I crouched, lifted it, and read the label. Deputy Access Reserve. Issued to Officer M. Connolly. My chest tightened. Connolly gave you this? Linda swallowed. He believed in my leadership. Morales whispered. Sheriff, Connolly is still on leave for those misconduct allegations last year. And now we know why, I said grimly. He was giving HOA presidents restricted keys. Linda wrung her hands. He said HOAs were the backbone of the county, that we deserved special privileges, that we were underappreciated. I stood upright. Connolly is under internal investigation. You know that. I didn't know all of that. She snapped. Doesn't matter, I said. You broke at least 4 laws the moment you took possession of these supplies. She stepped backward, panicked. Sheriff, please. You don't understand how hard it is to run a community. I have meetings. I have complaints. I have residents who rely on me. I'm practically public service myself. Linda. She backed up farther. Her heel hit a toolbox. She wobbled, and for a moment I thought she might fall. But instead, she stopped trying to deny it, stopped rationalizing, stopped pretending she wasn't caught, and she went still, completely still. Sheriff, she whispered, if you arrest me, they'll replace me. That's how it works, I said. They'll ruin my work, she murmured. They'll let the grass grow too long. They'll overwater the gardens. They'll let kids paint their fences any color they want. Her voice trembled, not with fear, but with pure, devastated outrage. It will be chaos. I stepped closer. Linda, you're not running a kingdom. You're running a neighborhood. She shook her head violently. No, this is more than a neighborhood. This is MY community. I built it. I kept it perfect. I enforced every rule. I prevented disorder for years. I am the reason people move here. I sighed. And now you're the reason they're scared. Her mouth fell open. You think they respect you, I said gently. But they're terrified of you. No, she murmured. Yes, Morales added. Everyone is scared to cross you. Half the residents told us they don't report crimes because they think you'll show up instead of us. She looked like someone had struck her. But I was just helping. Helping doesn't involve emergency lockboxes and theft, I said. She sank onto an overturned bucket, keys rattling in her trembling hands. For the first time since I met her, Linda looked small, powerless, human. What happens now? She whispered. I exhaled. Now, Morales takes inventory of every restricted item. We secure it all. And I file an official incident report. And me, you'll face charges. Her eyes filled with tears. But I called 911 to help. You called 911 on the sheriff, Morales said. She groaned into her palms. I didn't know. And, I added, you tried to break into my car. With a master key that wasn't a master key, Morales said. It should have been, she muttered. I motioned for her wrist. Linda Patterson, please stand up. She looked up at me through watery eyes. Sheriff, please, don't take away my position. I'm not taking it, I said. The law is. She wiped her face, stood slowly, and held out her hands. As Morales gently cuffed her, she whispered, Sheriff Hayes? Yeah. Who will run the HOA now? I shrugged. Someone who doesn't steal government property. She sighed. They'll never do it right. We'll survive, I said, as Morales led her out of the shed. Residents stood outside watching, stunned, whispering, some even relieved. And as Linda was guided into the cruiser, one neighbor clapped, then another. Then someone shouted, finally! Linda winced at each cheer like it stung. The community she protected was glad to see her go. I stepped back into the shed, scanning the boxes one more time. This neighborhood had been living under the thumb of a woman who believed her HOA title outranked the law. And it took one phone call, one failed master key, to bring the truth to light. Morales walked up beside me. Sheriff. Yeah. You think this community's gonna be okay now? I nodded. Yeah, I said. For the first time in years, I think they will. Because the real danger here wasn't burglars. it was unchecked authority. And thanks to a very persistent, very self-appointed HOA Karen, justice had finally come home.